What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Thank you so much for tuning into my Friday nutrition talk. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Maryann Walsh. I'm a registered dietitian consultant for the SlimFast Plan. And every Friday I've been coming on here and just kind of talking about a nutrition topic that I think is interesting. And I think it's always nice, knowledge is power. So the more we know about nutrition, the more we know about wellness, the more we know about the science behind health and wellness, the better that we can take care of ourselves. And so tonight I wanted to talk about micronutrients. What's a micronutrient? What's the difference between a micronutrient and a macronutrient? So we talk, I think we talk a lot. I feel like we do because it's super important to talk about macronutrients and how they encompass the calories that we eat. So obviously the macronutrients are fat, carbohydrates, and protein. There's 3 of them. Then there's the 4th one that we talked about last week, which was alcohol. And so again, the macronutrients are the nutrients that contribute to our calories for the day. Hi Terry, yes I know. Terry really loves the science stuff too. Some people don't, which is fine. You don't have to you can still absolutely be successful on your weight loss or your weight management journey without liking science. You don't need to necessarily know all the ins and outs of why things work and why they do the things they do. But I think it's fun to just have a little bit of a general background sometimes about, the stuff that we put in our body and what it's actually doing and why certain nutrients do certain things to our body versus others. So obviously I love science in general, but I love it when other people love science too. And so I love kind of sharing my knowledge and just talking about it. And so hi Christina, hi Tanya, hi Jennifer. Oh, Christina's out walking and listening. Christina, it has been a dreary rainy day here all day. I have not gone out for a walk all day, and I would love to. I think I might after this, if it stops raining. It's just been such a dreary day, but it's a day where you can get a lot of stuff done. So, thank you, Jennifer. I haven't really left this desk all day, except to have a snack and eat. So thank you for telling me that I look beautiful. But yeah, so micronutrients. What are they? So macronutrients again: carbs, fat, protein, and then you've got alcohol. It's the 4th macronutrient. Macronutrients contribute to calorie intake. So you've got fat, which is 9 calories per gram, carbs, 4 calories per gram, and then protein, which is 4 calories per gram. But the micronutrients are the vitamins, the minerals, the other aspects of our food and other aspects of nutrition that can be super important that do not contribute to calories. So micronutrients do not contribute to calories, but they do contribute to various functions in our body. There's certain, vital nutrients that we need to take into our body for it to function at its best. And this is going to vary, everyone's different. We talk about this all the time. Everyone's different. So if you're someone who is, who feels best doing keto, that's amazing. But guess what? You might need more sodium than someone who's not doing keto because you're losing, you're not holding on to as much water. And so you might need more sodium. You might need more potassium, more magnesium, versus someone who is not doing keto. Whereas if you're someone who is doing just say you're doing just the general SlimFast Plan, you're kind of just mostly focusing on counting calories, you might be getting in different nutrients than someone else, again, who's doing keto, or someone else who maybe doesn't like vegetables. There's people out there who don't like vegetables. And, at the end of the day, do I recommend people try to at least find a vegetable they like or find a way to season vegetables so that way they can eat more of them? Absolutely. But you can still have a well-balanced diet and get the micronutrients you need, even if you're not necessarily eating 5 fruits and vegetables a day. Which again, I think it's optimal and I think it's great, but don't stress out if you're someone who doesn't love vegetables. So, do you recommend a multivitamin, or do you think enough micronutrients are in our food already? And I just pee it out. So this is a really great question, Christina. And here's the thing. So there is you can overdo it with some vitamins, vitamins and minerals. For the most part, if you look at general recommendations, my nurse practitioner recommended all those supplements when I first started SlimFast Keto. Yep. Yes. So the problem is that a lot of vitamins are water soluble. So like vitamin C is water soluble. Fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, when you eat them, you need fat to go with them for your body to absorb them. So the general consensus in the scientific community is that because they're fat soluble vitamins, that we can store them, and we need to not make sure that we're like crazy overdoing it on them. Water soluble vitamins like vitamin C, which again, a lot of us I think right now might be supplementing with even more than usual, but your body doesn't use, you're just gonna pee out. So you kind of have to find a balance. Everyone's balance is going to be different. Everyone's intake of different vitamins and minerals are going to be different. So if you're taking a supplement of vitamin C and it's got vitamin D, A, E, K, things like that, you might not necessarily need to take that, because using the SlimFast product, for example. My blue light glasses are sliding around the table. So using the Advanced Nutrition Smoothie Mix, for example. Vitamin A, 25%. Vitamin C, there's 45% of your daily value of vitamin C in one serving, which is incredible. Hi, Trinity. So if you have 2 of these a day, you're getting 90% of your daily intake of vitamin C. And then say you have, we were talking about the peppers, the little rainbow peppers last night, and 5 of those has 100% of your daily vitamin C. So chances are, if you're having 2 shakes a day, or if you're having a shake in a bar, like the bars have 45% as well. I mean, you're getting a lot of extra vitamins and minerals from places that you probably don't even expect to be getting them from. So vitamin C, another really popular nutrient right now is vitamin D, and having a shake and mixing it, if you're using fat-free milk, of course, the nutrients on here are based on using fat-free milk. You're getting, where was I? 50%, because milk has usually, it's vitamin D fortified, or it's higher in vitamin D. But you're getting 50%. If you were to mix this with almond milk, depending on the nutrition of your almond milk, just alone in the powder, you're still getting 25% of vitamin D. Zinc, which we are hearing a lot about. This has got zinc as well. You're getting 30% of your daily value of zinc. So again, I think we're all very tempted, and trust me, you have to do what works best for you, and you have to do what works best with, what you and your doctor discuss in terms of what makes sense to be supplementing, especially now with everything going on. Definitely get a solid recommendation before you either quit using a supplement or before you add a supplement into your daily regimen. But I think kind of the key here is I just want to kind of remind people that there's micronutrients, the micronutrients that we need that are in a variety of foods. So using, obviously breakfast cereals are not the epitome of perfect nutrition every day. But there's a reason why breakfast cereals are so highly fortified, obviously, because a lot of children might eat breakfast cereal. They might enjoy breakfast cereals. And so those have a lot of vitamins and minerals as well. And so that's where you kind of want to just look at different foods that you're already eating, and you might find that you're actually really getting some interesting micronutrients that you didn't think you were getting. So how can you tell if you need more salt in your diet? So a few ways to tell, and again, everyone's different. So obviously, if you are generally a healthy human being, the recommendation is to stay under 2,300 milligrams of salt per day. And this is another great reason to track, because if you're tracking with an app, you can see like a general idea of how much salt you're taking in, how much sodium you're taking in, and then obviously if you're adding table salt through the salt shaker, then that's going to add to it as well. But usually most people don't have a problem with not getting enough salt. The times where you might find that you are having a problem is if you have low blood pressure. Like if you have consistently low blood pressure, then it could be, and again, general advice here, not everyone, always check with your doctor if you're ever concerned about low blood pressure versus high blood pressure or anything like that. But a way that you can usually tell if you're not getting enough salt in your diet is low blood pressure, and sometimes like fatigue, because you got to figure if your body's not being able to hold on to keep the blood volume properly or whatever, it's not going to be able to be circulating as well, and so there's just a few symptoms that kind of come along with having sodium that's too low. And again, for the most part, if you're eating a pretty general diet that includes carbohydrates, fats, and protein, then this usually is not an issue. But if you are on keto, because you are not holding on to water the same way, you might find that you need a little bit more salt to hold on to water and to help with the hydration status, because sodium pulls in water. So aside from carbohydrates, which pull in water as well, which will keep water in your body, which we want a little bit, but we don't want too much. But the salt will help pull that in as well. So, but yeah, always, if you're ever concerned, just check with your doctor. For the most part, when you're getting like your blood pressure screening taken, or when you get your blood work done, they should be able to kind of tell if there's an issue or a concern. But yeah, so micronutrients, again, super, super important. Things like calcium. Obviously, especially if you're a woman, we've been hearing this years and years and years that we need to have some calcium in our diet. We need to get adequate calcium to maintain strong bones. And obviously, most of us, I keep saying obviously, it's important when you're in your teens and your 20s especially. So if you've got daughters, make sure that if you're concerned about it, bring it up to their doctor. But when we get into our 30s and 40s, it's still super important. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, still super important to maintain calcium intake. But we're not building bone the way that we were when we were a teenager or in our 20s. But calcium is still super important. So that's another example of it could just be in the food that you're already eating. The bars have 6%. Here again with the advanced powder, you're getting in 25% in just the powder alone. And then if you're mixing it with almond milk, like the unsweetened almond milk that everyone uses, a lot of times that's calcium fortified. So if you're having 2 of those a day, you very well could be getting in your calcium needs for the day without needing to go buy a bunch of other supplements. Things like rice, things like grains, a lot of times, more often than not, because it's been required by the FDA and things like that for years to fortify with various nutrients. Obviously, if you are a woman of childbearing age and you plan on becoming pregnant anytime soon, or even if you're not planning on becoming pregnant, but there's a chance that you might end up pregnant somehow, because life happens. Folic acid is another nutrient that we definitely want to make sure that we are getting into our diet. And a lot of times, folate or folic acid is 30% in the shakes and 25% in the bars. And again, I'm using these as an example because obviously a lot of us consume these on a regular basis, being in the SlimFast Together group. But you could be getting a lot of these particular nutrients in these products. But again, if you are a woman of childbearing age and your diet is not super consistent with getting in these nutrients, then that's where you might want to make sure that you're talking to your doctor about being on a multivitamin that is providing you with that. Because again, whether you're planning to become pregnant or not, it could happen, and we just want to always be ahead of the game. I love to have cheese or Greek yogurt for 1 or 2 snacks a day too. Yes, I love yogurt. I love cheese too. I mean, I eat cheese every day, but I actually just grabbed some yogurt last week. I'm gonna try making those. I'm gonna try 2 ways. I'm gonna try almond flour and flour, like all-purpose flour, and then I'm also gonna try with I'm gonna try with almond flour and then all-purpose flour to make those bagels so that you take the Greek yogurt and the flour and you make bagels out of them. They look really good. I've been seeing them all over Pinterest, so I think that's on my schedule for this weekend. How exciting. Hi Donna, thanks for stopping in. So collagen, this is a good one. So collagen is, obviously we see it in a lot of different things now. It's in the shakes, it's not in the bars, but so collagen is obviously, it's a type of protein that, this is not the most pleasant way of describing it, but I don't know how else to describe it. It's the connective tissue that is in animals. And, what food technology does is they take it and they grind it up into a fine powder, and then they put it into different products. And so collagen does have favorable research for a variety of conditions and a variety of it's been shown, and there's research linking it to supporting numerous aspects of our health, such as joint health, such as gut health. Gut health is a super hot topic right now because a lot of our immune system lives in our gut. And then obviously the beauty benefits. A lot of people take collagen for the beauty benefits. I can't talk today. And so, for hair, skin, and nails. And so, I mean, the thing about collagen is that a lot of the research was done with very controlled dosing and just a very controlled environment. And so the problem is, we don't always necessarily know exactly the amount of collagen that we're getting in various products that we're using. But I think kind of the general consensus is I guess I wouldn't necessarily say break the bank with buying $100 collagen powder, but I personally use it every day. I put a little bit in my coffee. I have I either use unflavored or I use vanilla flavored collagen, and I'll put some in my coffee. And to me, I'm like, you know what? Even if I can't see a drastic difference from 1 month to the next when it comes to it, it's one extra thing that I'm doing that I like to think that it's just helping me in the long run to have better gut health or better hair, skin, nails, things like that. So, and joints as well. Obviously, we all want to really support our joint health and things like that. So, oranges or tangerines, yes. Citrus is a great way to incorporate more vitamin C. Jennifer Bates, yes. That's awesome to hear. And I think you've been using, obviously, the products for a while now. So, I mean, I think it's not if you were using it in a month and then a month later, you're I feel like it's made a difference. You've got a long time frame there to kind of really tell if it's made a difference or not. So that's pretty awesome. And then collagen, is that why some folks make bone broth? Yep, exactly. And the interesting thing about bone broth is that if you look at regular broth, chicken, just the regular broth that you would normally buy, and it usually is very, very low in calories because it's just mostly flavoring. Whereas the bone broth, if you look at how they actually make it, is they take the bone and they literally it boils down until there's nothing left. And so you're getting all of that collagen, that protein from that bone. And so that's why if you look at bone broth, a lot of times the calories are higher because you're getting the actual bones that deteriorated into the broth. So it's pretty interesting. Your nails are stronger than ever. That's awesome. Subnormal percentage of subcutaneous fat. Subnormal. So are you saying you have less subcutaneous fat? Because if you have less than normal subcutaneous fat, then that's usually not too much of an issue. But if it's saying that you don't have optimal, like you're slightly above the optimal amount of subcutaneous fat, then, I mean, there's just general, so just, general healthy diet and exercise, like exactly what you're doing, and then eventually over time, you should be able to get that number down, because it's one of those things that might take a little bit more time. A lot of times when we're losing fat, especially like when we're starting our weight loss journey, we don't always have the best control over kind of where it's coming from, and then some of us are going to hold more fat in our lower section, like our thighs and our hips and our thighs, or some of us are going to hold it more like the apple shape, like the upper body area. So yeah, it's just something that eventually takes time, and I think just keeping up with the diet and the exercise, and that's the best way to do it. I will say though, the scales are not always the most accurate, like the home, I gotta check, I don't wanna keep you guys too long. Oh yeah, I'll wrap it up in a couple minutes. I got talking and I couldn't see the time on the iPad. And so yeah, the scales at home aren't the most accurate. You can definitely use that number, meaning I don't have enough. Oh, okay. Interesting. I know we say this way too often, but I would just check with your doctor on that one if you're concerned. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, it's usually not too much of an issue, but just run it by them. It shouldn't be too much of a concern. And I will say too that as I was talking about the scales, sometimes the scales are not super accurate, and your level of hydration can affect the fat number that shows up, the percentage of fat that shows up on the scale. So if you are more hydrated versus dehydrated, if you're dehydrated or like slightly dehydrated, or say you wake up and you haven't had any water all night, and you wake up and you go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, and if you're slightly dehydrated, that can affect what shows as the fat percentage on the scale as well. So there's different variations, and I have one of those scales too that kind of shows me a snapshot of everything that's going on in my body, but nothing's ever as good as like the really hardcore like laboratory setting measurements. But yeah, I would just check with my doctor. It's usually not too much of an issue, but better just to be safe than sorry and get that peace of mind. Mine is staying in the lower sections. Yes, mine too. I'm a traditional pear shape, and so when I gain a couple pounds here and there, I notice it right in my lower section, like right away. So hi Kristen, hope you're doing well. Hi Patricia, thanks for joining. So thank you so much for coming to my talk about micronutrients and the difference between micronutrients and macronutrients. And thanks again for joining, and I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you guys Monday for the 10-minute workout of the week. And again, I hope wherever you're at, the weather is nice. It's supposed to be a rainy weekend here, so I think I'm going to just be getting a lot of stuff done around the house, but again, I hope you'll have an amazing, restful, fun, whatever a great weekend means to you, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.